Hello! Ladies and gentlemen, I recently just finished watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia Season 17, which is absolutely crazy. And yes, I'm on Goga Blogian, the art collector. Charmed, I'm sure. I wanted to, in this video, follow up on something that I talked about a few months ago when It's Always Sunny Season 17 was about to drop. Because at the time, I was a little bit skeptical of the season and just where the direction of this show was going. And I have to be honest with you, I have, after watching the season, had a little bit of a change in perspective and a little bit of a change in my mind. So I wanted to talk about that in this video. With all that out of the way, I want to preface by saying I've been watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for, I think, probably 15 years now, and I think I've seen every episode, no joke, at least 7 times on repeat. I am a diehard fan of the show. It has taken over my entire culture. Everything I say somehow magically turns into an It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia quote. That's how much I love it. But if you watched my previous video, you know I was a little bit skeptical and thought it was time for the show to end. And in a lot of ways, I still hold a kind of similar belief to that. This show has definitely fell off from what it used to be. One of the best things about Old Sunny was that it had this level of stupidity with the characters, where there wasn't a Flanderization, where Dennis wasn't like this, the insane You level, like the show You level psychopath. And Mac wasn't the way he was with his flamboyancy. Not that it's a problem, but the way they go over the top and make it a joke every time. Charlie wasn't always illiterate. You know what I mean? Dee wasn't always annoying with bad jokes. Frank wasn't always losing his memory. You know what I mean? Like those things, they've slowly started to Flanderize. And none of those things on its own are bad when they're sprinkled in, because they're actually hilarious additions to the show. But the later seasons of Sunny seem to get comfortable in pushing the envelope with what they could do with those story tropes, and also push the envelope of what they could do with Sunny in general. I think old It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was so special because it focused on very small stories in the bar, and it focused on characters like the ones we have just being idiots in their own safe space. Now we have episodes like the crossover with Abbott Elementary. We have episodes like Frank goes on The Golden Bachelor and things like that. And just looking at the previews ahead of time, or the trailer ahead of time, and seeing that, I was like, there's just no way this is going to be good. But this season, in the end of the day, was kind of a mixed bag for me, because in some ways, it was really funny and felt like a solid return to form. But then in other ways, it also kind of didn't, and still had that same issue that I already talked about. I do think the Abbott Elementary episode was really funny. I thought that was a pretty good one. I thought the EMTs episode was about the most classic return to form we could get. The few episodes relating to The Golden Bachelor were funny. And though I didn't find it hilarious, the one where Frank turned himself into a cake and he had the gang like on a crisis because they thought Frank died was actually pretty funny. And it was a good but obvious plot twist that I thought was good. There was a few episodes this season that just, I guess in a sense, felt like a return to form for It's Always Sunny. And it made me, I guess you could say, see the light at the end of the It's Always Sunny tunnel. This show doesn't need to die. It's very clear that the writers just have so much fun. Rob McElhenney, Charlie Day, or Rob Mack, I should say, because that's what he goes by now. Charlie Day and Glenn Howerton. You could tell they just have fun in general. And if that's what makes them tick and they want to keep making the show, there's nothing wrong with that. I think I was a little too harsh in my last review, or in my last conversation, I guess, about it, saying that it needs to end. That being said, I would like to see an ending to this show in general. It's one of those things, like I said in my last video, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Not that It's Always Sunny will ever be a villain, but it has been stuck in this kind of poor state lately. I think season 17 finally somewhat broke out of it, but there were still glimpses of what made it lackluster in these past few seasons in there. So going into another season, season 18, I am definitely still skeptical, but I do think they've kind of learned to kind of go back to the roots of Sunny a little bit and make it a little bit more of the gang's just a group of idiots. They did show a lot of that. Like, one of my favorite things was the conversations they had around the conspiracies of 9/11. That was so funny in the Abbott Elementary episode. There were some others, like the EMT storyline in general was hilarious. There was just a lot of good moments in there that felt grounded, stuff that I'm excited to see them possibly return to. But I want to know from you, did you guys think season 17 was good? If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it like a middle of the road. I'd say it was like a 6 out of 10, to be honest. I didn't think it was like outstanding, but I didn't think it was nearly as bad as some of the other seasons. So I think there is some potential for it to continue. And plus, in the end of the day, if they're still making Sunny, I'm not complaining because I'm going to check it out and I'm going to have a good time either way. So yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts down below. Did you like the season? Did you hate the season? Are you like me where you think it's kind of the time to end the show or not? With all that out of the way, thank you again so much for watching this video, and until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.